In mid-September, public safety and several campus organizations tested response times of public safety officials to the emergency blue lights, the Eagle reported this week. The report had some startling numbers. It took as many as 7 minutes for officers to respond to a blue light. Is your student government doing anything about it? With more on this tonight, I will be talking with Class of 2010 Senators Julie Mills and Georgette Spanjich and Class of 2011 Senator Nick Troiano. Thanks for joining us. What were your initial reactions, Senator Spanjich?
At first, I was pretty surprised that it took public safety 7 minutes, but after talking to some of the executives that did a lot of the blue light testing, we found out that this initial response time happened without public safety knowing that they were actually being tested. As the testing continued, the numbers got better, which is a little more reassuring.
And Senator Mills, your reactions?
I think that it's not as reassuring. Actually, I'm going to disagree with you, Georgette, because I think that they should have already been there at the first test to be there on time in a 2 to 3 minute response, which is what we say, especially on ambassador programs when students are visiting the school. In order to ensure safety, public safety should be there in 2 to 3 minutes.
Senator Troiano, what can the Senate do about this?
I think this issue is brought to us officially just in today's meeting by President Village, and we're going to have to take action on this because safety on our campus is a paramount issue to us. So we're going to be working with public safety in the coming weeks to kind of develop any sort of new measures that need to be put in place to make sure the response time is between 2 to 3 minutes.
What would you do, Senator Spanjich?
Well, I'm actually the chair of the Committee on Students' Rights, and basically public safety falls under our purview. So we're basically going to set up some kind of form for testing them on a regular basis. Some of the other senators and members of the student government have also expressed an interest in setting up a town hall meeting where we get all of the senators involved, we get people in public safety involved, other executives involved, and the student body involved to get their input on what exactly we should be doing. But I think testing on a more regular basis is a definite thing that we need to work on. Maybe more training for public safety officers, maybe just updating our blue light system just to improve the overall quality of safety and concern for safety on this campus.
Senator Mills, is it a question about money? Is it a question about officers? Is it a question about location? Do you have any idea on any of those?
I actually don't. I haven't really looked into if it's a location issue or if it's the officers. Obviously, it takes more time for people to get to Nebraska, which I believe was one of the longest time periods because it's just so far from the public safety office. I think we need to look into all three of those issues really in order to address this problem.
Do you have any thoughts on funds, on time? I mean,
it's going to be something we have to look into, but one of the most startling things is the 7 minute response time was right here on the quad. Not in Nebraska, not at some far out place on our campus, but right on the quad.
Right.
So I think it'd be a good idea if public safety had one officer on the quad when classes are changing at night. We need to have them in locations where they best can respond to the blue lights.
Senator Spanjich, anything more on the subject? I mean, I know you are sponsoring a bill that's going to be voted on, I want to say next week. Am I right about that?
It's actually 2 weeks.
2 weeks from now, which is going to be about the reallocation of funds. You have extra money in student government right now?
Basically, the money within student government isn't SG restricted, which means it can only be allocated to other student government departments. So it can't be allocated to do something about the blue lights per se. But it's definitely something that we can look into in getting our departments to do things, whether it be awareness campaigns or co-sponsoring different events with public safety to create awareness for safety on campus. So I think that's definitely something that we're going to look into. But also on this bill, we are asking any of the departments who did request money to submit a written proposal to the senators. And if public safety is something they want to include in those proposals, I think it's something that we'll definitely be willing to consider.
But Colin, if I could interject something, I think that public safety and its funding should come from the university itself. These funds that our student government has are meant towards to go through events and different programs that our student government does. This is an obligation the university has as students who come to this campus, so we have to put pressure on them to make sure their services are adequate.
What's the best way to do that, Senator Mills, to put pressure on the university? Do you have any ideas on that?
I think really just gauging student opinion and making sure that students know that this is an issue. When the students are concerned, the administration is concerned. And I think that programs like your television show and putting it in the Eagle and the student government really getting on public safety by having these tests is really the best way to get the administration concerned.
Okay. Would you like to add something else?
I will tell you that through an incident this year, it was my second day on campus, and I had to be the first person to press the blue light because of an incident that happened that I witnessed. And I will tell you, I was shocked at the response time, how slow it was by public safety. I know they're trying their best out there. It may just be a lack of resources on their part. We haven't investigated this fully. But I was not satisfied with that response time. So this is an important issue we're going to have to discuss.
Definitely. The safety of the students on this campus is very important to everyone in this room. I know most people care about this. Any last thoughts?
I was just going to say that I think that we too often take for granted that we are located in a very safe suburban neighborhood in Northwest Washington, D.C. And I don't think that that should in any way hinder the public safety services that we offer. That, while that should be taken into consideration, that we do need to have, the same safety precautions in place as if we were living in a part of this city that had a lot more crime and a lot more potential for danger. So I think that, we take that for granted too much here on this campus.
Senator Mills, last thoughts?
I don't necessarily think that we take it for granted. I think that as students, sometimes we just are just not aware of our surroundings. And I think that being in an urban area, I think we pay attention more to public safety and really being secure. And I would like to make sure that public safety feels the same way as students, that we are concerned about our well-being, walking back and forth from the library late at night, or just walking around campus in general.
Last thoughts?
We've seen time and again throughout history, especially on college campuses, that seconds can make a difference. So I just want to tell the students out there who are watching, your people in the student government will be working for you to make sure this issue is resolved as soon as possible.
Well, Senator Spanjich, Senator Mills, Senator Troiano, thank you so much for being on the show. We'll be right back after these messages.